Welcome, Dealer Refresh Friday. Refresh Friday. What number are we on? 34?
I think so.
Number 34. It's exciting. I've got my pink shirt on today.
Nice. You're looking cute.
Thank you.
It's for a good cause, though.
It is.
What's that cause, Jeff?
$5. Donate $5. Was it? I think it's every Friday of the month. Get to wear jeans and a hot pink T-shirt. Polo.
Nice.
Yeah, not too bad. I think it's a good cause. So, Jason, welcome. I think it's what, second, third time we've had you on board?
Yeah. I think the first time would have been a while back, but yeah.
Yeah.
That was you and Ed Brooks.
Yeah, that was the second time. Yeah, I was doing it from my trailer.
Yeah, that's right.
Alex, you threw some clickbait out there.
It ain't clickbait, man.
I know.
We're really gonna, make people question.
I read that like all CRMs are bad.
Yeah. Cancel your CRM. I'm like, oh boy. Yeah, I'm gonna get that.
Jason's probably freaking out. Oh man, don't.
That wasn't my quote. I know. I was like, I didn't say that.
So let's move into who sponsored today's show. It's brought to you by Vin Solutions.
No, but speaking of sponsors, today we are sponsored by
Rice.
Yeah.
Trade pending.
Yeah.
A little bit of trade pending.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a trade-in tool for your dealership website, definitely check out Trade Pending. Bryce and the team over there. He just had, I think he's got Sos over there now. If you're familiar with Michael Sos, great guy. Bryce and him work together whenever they are at Dominion. And I think they're sort of the brainchilds behind some of the prime products over there that I actually use. And of course, this new trade pending piece. If you jump over to the Dealer Refresh blog or forums, you'll see the ad. Click on the ad. It'll bring you to a page. Fill out your information down below. And Bryce or Sos or someone will get with you and we'll go over the cool, probably one of the best trade-in tools out there available for dealership websites. Of course, if you're like Alex, you don't like trade-in tools.
I like trade pending. I don't care for the KBBs and black books and all, but trade pending gives the customer some facts behind the number.
Yeah, it's
more transparent. Yeah,
and local data
just the number. Right.
Yeah, local data. They're actually able to see what's actually happening in that local market.
Yep.
And then the dealership can use it as a tool on the showroom floor as well. I know that's what we do. So it's definitely a strong tool. So, Jason, again, welcome aboard. What's going on with Lot Pop? Every time I jump on Facebook, it looks like you're like moving to a new office. You're hiring 100 more people.
Yeah, we went 6 months. First office was about January. Within 6 months, we moved out of that, and then we moved to this current office now. Not huge, 1,800 square feet, but the office next to us was 1,200 square feet, and it was available. So we're sitting there, and we're about 2 people tapped in this office space. And I was like, man, if we keep growing in 6 months, I'm going to need that space. And if I don't grab it, we're going to have to move again. So I went ahead and grabbed the office space next to us, connected it, so we're at 3,000 square feet. We've got, like I said, man, within probably 3 to 6 months of probably filling that place up. So hopefully we've been blessed. It continues to grow. But, we run into, any time of the season, you run into those holidays or the tough months, so guys cut back, but then in the tough months, guys want to grow. So, we'll feel out. Usually this time last year, we grew pretty good because guys were struggling and needed some help.
The truth is you just don't want to have to redo your office again.
Yeah, I don't want to have to move. It's that wood background. I got to put it up every time I go somewhere. And then, we got a dealer workshop coming up. And you know what? Here's what it was. I had a 5-year anniversary, and I was going to invite all employees. And we got 17 employees. About half of them are remote. So I was going to fly them in and do an employee party and stuff. I said, no, I'm going to do a workshop, and I was going to make it free to our current clients. I also partner with Strong Automotive. It's a marketing firm. He's been around 40 years. So let's just do a workshop. Don't cost anything. You know, I was charging $495 for non-clients of Strong or Lot Pop because I just wanted to reserve the spots, 50 spots, and it's at this Kansas City Auto Museum. It's actually, I didn't know we had it. It's about a mile from our, 7 minutes from our office here. So we're going to put it in there, and hey, dealerworkshop.com. If anybody wants to come, just put in there and reference this. It'll be free. Just get here. I got hotel information on there, discounted rates, but and it's just everything we go over. And I sent you some screenshots and stuff for this meeting. Anything we go over, you guys can do yourself. This workshop, I say no vendors. You know, Matt Coing out there was kind of pushing me. That's bullshit because you're a vendor. So how can you say no vendors? Because everything we do, we're a process management and consulting firm. I just help you manage the process and track and trend the stuff you should be doing. So there's no pitching, but we're going to break down inventory, because I think if you're going to attack a dealership, if you want to turn around your store, you're going into a new store, attack the inventory first, because that's what you sell. Get your photos, pricing, descriptions, right? I'll go over everything you need to track for inventory. Once you get inventory turned around, you start driving leads, then get a good internet process going. That's what we're going to talk about, some of the stuff here. Get an internet process flowing to handle those leads, and then worry about marketing, then start marketing. A lot of guys go in and start marketing first.
Why merchandising first?
Well, because here, sales solve all problems, right? You want to, every guy's, what's the biggest complaint? Man, we're slow. We need more traffic. Traffic solves all problems. You know, having a good lead management process or customer follow-up process, if there's no leads to work, what's the point? So, you know, a lot of time we offer that service. We help dealers with internet process management. But if I have a guy and he wants to do both, but really, you know, maybe affordability, well, where should I start? Get the inventory going. Because that's one thing I noticed just out here with industry experts. Everybody talks about the newest, shiniest thing, Facebook advertising, texting, all these new shiny little things, but then you go look at their inventory, the pricing's jacked up, they got check engine lights on or whatever, you know. It's like, gosh, you know, you spend all this money on advertising, people come to your site and you got crap. And then somebody submits a lead, no one follows up with them. So get the inventory right, drive traffic into the door. No one complains because they have too much traffic. Then do the process management to handle the leads properly, and then start advertising. But a lot of guys push advertising first.
And what you're saying is dealerships or your current clients, or really anyone that's here watching this webcast today, Refresh Friday, they could jump on dealerworkshop.com. Great URL, by the way.
You believe that is available?
No.
And Facebook page. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Wow.
are we the dumb ones? Because this is too simple, you know, but I'm like, no.
But if they go there, they can go ahead and sign up for your dealership workshop. Exactly. And that's October 16th through the 17th.
Yeah, 2 weeks from now. There's about 20 spots left, I think.
Yeah, it looks like you've got a pretty strong agenda for 2 days.
Yeah. And we're going to have a Google rep there, a Google automotive rep. So we're going to have not just our marketing firm, but somebody from Google is going to be speaking.
What are they going to bring to the table with the conversation?
Pay-per-click stuff. And again, organic, what the ins and outs are, what they're doing right now, Google or automotive in. So
do they have any stats around merchandising?
I don't know. I just got my marketing guy, who's one of the certified Google marketers out there. He knows their people well. He just told me 2 days ago he's going to have one of their reps or one of those people, Google people here in our. So just excited to have them, because again, they're going to have some more in-depth knowledge to give out.
Well, congratulations on the growth, and of course, congratulations on the workshop.
Thanks,
it's been exciting. I mean, you and I go back. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, probably at least 03. Because I started doing articles in probably 02. Well, articles for a while. Dealer Cat. Do you guys remember Dealer Cat from Dennis Rushing? I believe his name was.
Oh, Paul Rushing.
Yeah.
Paul Rushing.
Yeah,
yes.
Paul Rushing.
Dealer Cat. I mean, back in probably 99, 2000, 2001. No, it was Paul. It was his.
Okay.
Gosh. And then,
Dealer
anyways,
Cat.
that Dealer Cat.
One of the first really had like a full-fledged website out there.
It was the first dealer refresh, really.
Yeah. Per se. I mean, it wasn't a community, but
yeah.
Yeah.
It was a blog. So I remember doing articles there, and then it led me into articles in Dealer Magazine for Digital Dealer and stuff. So back when Ziegler and stuff was their keynote writer and everything. And me and you started communicating back then, I think.
Yeah. I reached out to you from one of your articles.
Yeah. So that was a while back.
Let's not talk about time.
Yeah, what, 15 years at least.
Well,
I
before
know.
we went live, we were talking about some of our old favorite products,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Microsoft CarPoint.
Stone Age.
Yeah, and AVV Web Control.
I loved
Mhm.
AVV Web Control.
Oh
I
yeah,
did.
I still think it's probably one. You could probably throw that in a dealership today, and
Yeah.
I could.
absolutely.
Well, and that's the other thing is, I've seen some debates on trainers and stuff that are out there, old school, new school, and this guy's too old, he's too old school. But you know what? Nothing's really changed. There's nothing new out there. The sales steps, all that stuff is new. I mean, so they ABV and then these newer CRM, nothing's new. It's managed. Pull up a lead, call, email, text, follow up, call, email, text. So it's nothing new. ABV could go right in the store, maybe sees archaic and some of the, but it's that process. That hasn't changed at all.
Well, the most recent article on the Dealer Refresh blog draws a picture of how car dealers came out of the horse trader days, and you sometimes wonder how much of the process has really changed.
I don't know. You wrote the article, so it's probably just clickbait.
Well, that's funny you bring that up, Alex, because when I flat pricing is what I call 20 grand. When I came across that, whatever, and I know, Jeff, you said you guys tried it at your store a while back. Yeah, I think it was 2011. Anyway, I started studying marketing, actually. I'm like, holy crap, we're really marketers when we're managing inventory more than inventory managers. So anyways, I actually went and bought Yellow Advertising and Yellow Pages for Dummies or whatever is a book. Because I mean, in reality, that marketing strategy is the same. And think about it, why did the guy call it AAA key services? Is so he can get at the top of the search, right? So
Chinese food.
Yeah, it's to get up, and that's no different than Google Analytics. How do you get my organically at the top? It hasn't changed. It's a different platform. So I thumbed through that book just to see if there's still those old ideas that kind of faded away, but it's still relevant today. It's just like your article. I mean, it's just nothing's changed. But
No,
yeah, ABV.
Who owns AVV Web Control? What happened to it? I mean, I know it's still out there. Oh wait, Dominion.
Didn't Dominion buy it?
Yes. Yeah, Dominion owns it. I wonder if they're still selling it.
No, because they've got Vision CRM now. That would be potentially a conflict, but they might still be supporting it.
Yeah. Oh, true.
We know some people at Dominion. We could ask them.
Just a few. So, Jason, you sent over a couple of images and such, and of course, Alex sort of threw the clickbait out there about CRM and are CRMs doomed, and does a dealership really need a CRM? What is a CRM? And
let me tell you why that's not clickbait. Where's Ed Brooks?
Because that wasn't that wasn't my subject line. That was
Ed Brooks is usually the one who calls me out on the clickbait, not you.
And he did.
He did. That's true. But and I don't see him yet. Where is he? But when you sit back and think about CRM, when you think about it on the whole, if you're making decisions from the data that's in your CRM system, you might be harming yourself because the data in the CRM is pretty garbage.
Yeah.
If you look at CRM solely as, and I hate to use the term babysitter tool, but it's kind of what it is. You called it an electronic Rolodex earlier, Jeff, but if it's just a process management engine just to tell a sales agent, what to do next and where to file his paperwork, then there's some value in that. But if you're going through and trying to make marketing decisions off of it, things like that, and Jason, I think you'll expand on that a bit more, but that's where I have to wonder if the value of the babysitter side is being devalued by the garbage of the data.
Well, and has it done more good than bad, or bad than good? And
that's what we're going to explore today, right?
And I agree. It's to me, dealerships use the CRM as more of a customer marketing platform versus a customer management or opportunity management. And too many times the reports, I know in many of the CRMs, the ones I've used, I can run one report and run the next report, but the results are different within almost the same report.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's a coding problem.
And of course, everyone talks about attribution, and I have yet to see a CRM that gives you I guess a report to give you a broader picture of attribution. You know, most of the reports are going to show, you know, what was the last lead, last ad.
No, it's the first lead.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we'll sell a car, and I'll look at the ad source, and it's like, you know, it just so happened that opportunity has been open for 4 years.
Oh wow.
4 years, and somehow it just got, you know, it just fell through the cracks, and you know, it still has an old lead source that like we haven't used in 4 years. And it's like, well, how does that get?
So you're still selling cars from Stone Age, huh?
Yeah, there's a few. That would make me laugh.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, so, you know, there's a lot of really, again, I don't know of any CRM out there that really gives you a broad picture, a nice stroke of the word attribution.
Yeah, and I think, you know, when we look at internet, well, two things. One, I think there's CRMs, and then there's lead management tools. We were talking about that prior to going live here. You know, I think an AVV web control is a great lead management tool. eLeads is a great lead management tool. You can pull up that lead, have all the content that you need, and accomplish everything in just one click. But something like a Reynolds contact management is a pretty layered and thick. It's a great CRM for service and parts and sales and back end, front end. It has all that data, but it's so layered to work it daily and handling 100, 200 leads a month, which you shouldn't be handling 200 leads a month. But if you are, you know, it's hard to get through all those layers and work it properly. So I think there's a difference between the two. Also, you know, is it a BDC department? Is it a lead management department? Or not necessarily department, or I'd say tool, because again, some people want to get away from internet departments as far as, but you know, there's differences in that. And so, yeah, CRMs, if it's for, you know, sales and future follow-ups and service follow-ups, there's systems that are better for that. Then there's, if it's a tool for actual lead management, and that's where I think a dealer's got to decide what's more important, the lead management portion of it or the CRM portion of it. With data goldmine and all that other stuff, you might be able to pull, you know, use a great, I would say lead management is more important, especially if you get a ton of leads than CRM. Because a lead management tool, it's not that hard to do a sold follow-up process. Call day 3, call day 14, call day 30, call day 60. That CRM is not hard. Lead management is. So I think if any dealer is going into a system, you want to look at it as a lead management tool. Matter of fact, you guys appreciate this. My dealer group I worked for years ago decided, they had meetings, because I was just the internet director, I didn't count, right? So they had meetings with other CRMs companies, and that my dealer, without me knowing, and again, this is after I used AVV Web Control for 5 years. This is after AVV did a white paper studying what we were doing. They decided to switch everybody over to Reynolds Contact Management. And I flipped out. I'm like, what's going on? I said, hold on a second. So I
where else can you get a 12-year contract?
Yeah. So I argued with my dealer. I said, well, hold on. Let me run this side by side. If it works just as good, I have no problem. But don't let me keep this for 30, 60 days. And after 30, 60 days, I pointed it out and I showed him, I mean, what you're doing to this department, what you're doing to these leads. And after that, I got to keep my AVV. So we had 2 different systems. We had contact management and we had AVV, because AVV is just such a better lead management tool than the CRM. And again, Reynolds was great for what they wanted to do, service follow-up and sales and this and that, but not at all for lead management. It really slowed our department down. And so we had leads going into both, so we wouldn't get skated on the floor. Because again, the guys on the floor put in a new walk-up, right? And they wouldn't know we had it. So we had to balance it, but we ran with 2 because a lead management tool is way different than a CRM.
Well, a lot of dealerships back then were almost forced to run with both, depending upon what franchise.
Well, you also had like Autobase was, you know, it was Autobase, and what was the other one that was a server-based system?
Tire Gear.
Higher Gear, yeah. So you had those two were the leading CRMs back then. And Jeff, I mean, how many clicks did it take to add an attachment to an email in Autobase?
No, well, yeah, Autobase and Higher Gear. Yeah,
we counted it once. I think it was
Jason, your story mimics mine. I remember when I was at this dealership originally many years ago, and I was using web control, and they came in and signed a contract because the manufacturer came in and said, "Hey, here are the approved vendors for your next CRM," with no regards to my expertise in the subject.
Yeah.
They signed up with Higher Gear.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing?
The statuses in Higher Gear were great though.
Those big icons.
Yeah, those were awesome. You bring those back.
I might have a few screenshots of those somewhere.
I do have one.
So
Yeah, we'll have to bring that out on the forums.
Jeff and I could, if dealers are listening, please involve your head or person, if you're deciding to switch CRMs or lead management, please involve those people, because I was just blown away. I'm like, we deal with this every day, all day. We do hundreds of leads every day through this department. You guys get 10 ups and deal with the CRM, you know, and you guys are making these decisions.
But do you think it was something done on purpose, or was it just out of ignorance?
Yes.
I think it out of ignorance, because again, we were never, I was the internet director for the group and had, 8 stores, but they wouldn't,
Yeah,
I was still a redheaded stepchild. No offense.
Well, you sit down with the GM at the end of every month, and you go over your marketing, and you go over, what vendors you're using, and you get the same question: what's this vendor do?
Yeah.
What's this vendor do again? Then we have this conversation like 6 months in a row at the end of every month.
Yeah. Shouldn't we cancel them? What do we spend in there?
So, question for you, Jason.
Yes.
One of the biggest problems in CRM that rarely gets addressed is how inventory is looked at, right? I mean, when you think about CRMs, customer relationship management, the whole basis of it is simply the relationship between the salesperson and the customer. But really, the basis of a relationship between a salesperson and a customer is about a car.
Yeah, and
where the hell are the cars?
Well, like I said, when we talking to dealers, we focus, is it your people, is it your process, your products, which is your cars, or your providers? So kind of skip ahead to here, and here, Jeff, pull up, matter of fact, pull up image number 4. I sent you guys some images. These are just reports that dealers can do themselves. We pull data out. I think this happens to be a vAuto dealer. We pull data out, or Vin Solutions dealer. We pull data out, dump it in. But one of the things that I found when we got better with dealerships on inventory management, for used cars, let's say, their closing percentage actually dropped. And I start scratching my head. How's that happen? We're getting better with our inventory. We should be closing more deals. But what this is right here, this is active leads. Okay. Now remember, today's the 5th, so this was probably pulled on the 4th. But active leads, our process is 60 days. So we're going to look at all leads that we got in the last 60 days. I believe in a 75 and a 90, 120-day process, but I'm not going to install one of those into a store if I can't even get them to do a 45-day process. So just hear me out on that. So this is 60 days. Last 60 days, any dealer should at least agree to follow for 60 days. So we dump all the leads in here, and notice that 22 in the right-hand corner. That's how many month to date, only 4 days in, we have 22 active leads on cars that are already sold. Or in the last 60 days, 350 of my active leads are on cars that are already sold. So look at that 15 Tahoe. That means I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leads active. So I probably had 6 total leads because the 6th one got sold. I got 5 leads here left on a car that's already sold. And here we are probably sending follow-ups that says, hey, it's been 2 weeks since you submitted a lead on the Tahoe. When can you come in? Well, the Tahoe's gone. You need to put these leads down a different process. And so the reason why the closing percentage has dropped off, go to that next screenshot. Now, this is just something I did as an example. And, these might not be, these aren't to the extremes, but when dealers were, before we started helping them price better, market their cars better, and so forth, here's an example. Let's just say you have 100 leads. That's at the top there. And back then you weren't doing as good with your inventory. So maybe you got 20% of your active leads were on cars that sold, right? Maybe you got 1 or 2 leads on a car. And so that left you with 80 workable leads that you can actually still sell a car to. So let's say of those 80, you sell 10%. That leaves 8 sold, and that 8 sold in your CRM will go to that 100 total leads. So that's an 8% closing percentage. We go to the next screen. So then we get better with the dealer, and they get more effective with marketing and pricing. So all of a sudden, a Tahoe, instead of getting 1 or 2 leads, you're getting 4, 5, 6, 7 leads. So that now, and we've had dealers as high, if not higher, than 40% of their active leads, current active leads, are on cars already sold. So if that's the case, I only got 60 people left that I can actually still sell a car to today. And then if I close 10% of those 6 deals, so those 6 deals now against my 100 leads that the system's going to say I have is a 6% closing percentage. And then we're like, holy crap. So does closing percentage even matter? Because is it my people's fault that they're getting leads on cars already sold? Is it cars.com auto traders' fault? And why? What if cars.com, you only had 10 email leads this month, because that's how you're going to grade it, and you didn't sell any or you sold 1, and then you're going to say, man, we're spending 5, 8, 10, 20 grand on cars.com, whatever that number is, and we only sold 1 unit. But how do you know those 10 leads weren't any cars?
That's the CRMs told them that they only sold 1 unit.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yet they'll quickly dismiss the phone calls. And, I might get in trouble for saying this, but they'll quickly dismiss the floor traffic. And that's why I asked you in the very beginning, when we started to go live, why do you work on merchandising before you worked on the lead process? And I agree with you 100%. I go straight into the merchandising piece, because not everyone's going to fill out a form lead, but you're going to get more people to pick up the phone, and you're going to get more people to just walk through the dealership. So that's why I always went straight to merchandising. If you're going to do, if there's one thing that you battle first, it's going to your merchandising.
Yep.
So, and I tell you something else with this, and it can crush you on a crazy month whenever you have you price something wrong. You ever price a car wrong by about 10,000? Yeah, you just, you fat finger something in, just off by about 10 G, and all of a sudden you're getting we've had it overnight, 20, 30 leads come in on this vehicle that was completely priced wrong by accident. And it will just close. It crushes your percentage rates.
So it just throws your closing percentage way off, and you can't really, it's not relevant then. And so is the person at fault? Is the provider at fault? And again, the CRM's just going to look at leads to closing percentage. I just shot you, and I'm going to shoot you another one, because that made me start thinking. As a matter of fact, the second one I'm going to send you.
You're sending me more photos?
Anyone's. Yeah, I got tons of them, dude. No, because here, the second one I sent, the first one I sent you, but the second one, I'm going to send it now, is, it just shows, because here's back, and I go back in the day. I remember, again, probably 2005, my used car manager came up to me and says, hey, Jason, we need to cancel Auto Trader. I'm like, why? Well, because we're spending this much money. You guys only closed this many, so we might have spent 10 grand and closed 2 deals or whatever. And that's $5,000 a sale. And I would show him, and that's what I wanted to show you, the second picture I just sent you. I would show him, I said, man, we've had, let's say, 150 people do maps to our store. And I said, just imagine if only 10%, and I said, that's conservative, 10% of those people show up. That's 15 people. And we close 30 or 40% of our floor ups. I said, that's another 5 deals that I know I can equate, and that's being conservative, but you can't point that out. The CRMs can't point that out. And like I said, the second email I sent you is a screenshot of a store, and there is the purple that's a cars.com, but look at the map views and website visits, and in the red and the orange there, those are the green are emails, and then the blue is phone calls. So you barely get any phone calls. You get a lot of emails. But I mean, look at
Cobalt would be so proud of this, Chief.
Hold on a second. So you're saying there's more email leads than phone calls?
Yeah, look at the phone. The phone's
That's
in the blue down.
That's not typical. That's not typical for what I've seen. So that's interesting.
Yeah. We'll go to, and by the way, we started helping them.
But hold on a second.
We started helping them in January.
Hold on a second, Jason. You know, I personally never gave much value to a map print.
Yeah.
That's why I said Cobalt.
I mean, that was, to me, that was not a lead. That was like somebody, especially today, somebody accidentally clicked on the wrong link. We don't know what the hell.
Well, yeah. Well, let's talk about today. How expensive?
Again, especially now, maybe 10 years ago, but today, like, no one has a printer anymore. You know, everything's got it on their phone.
Nowadays, I almost buy a new printer instead of new ink because ink costs so much. So if somebody's actually spending the money to print something up, they're probably pretty serious the way ink costs. In my eyes. Yeah, bullshit. I mean, you look at how many people have leads printed up in the back of the car when you go appraise them. Don't tell me people are printing.
Well,
go to that car. Go to the second one I sent you. That was cars.com. Look at the Auto Trader, and I want to, because this.
You still didn't answer the map view one, Jeff.
Well, map views. Why? Well, yeah, I pulled up an old folder I had of all my map quests when I went and visit dealers. We used to do map quests and get the dealers. But yeah, that one. Look at all that purple. That's saved vehicles, and the pink is click to sites. Now that's Auto Trader. So, I mean, those have got to be potentials, and those in the numbers of.
Yeah, that's a big number.
Yeah, I mean, huge amount of numbers that those are people interested, okay? Those aren't just shoppers. Those are people interested in you. No different than a lead. But only 20.
With these different websites, cars.com, Auto Trader, if you click on save, you typically have to build a profile. So I have to wonder, when you're looking at this report, maybe you know the answer to this, is it just because they clicked on save on that particular car, or did they actually save it into their profile so they can go back and look at, like, how is a saved vehicle being utilized at cars.com? Like,
well, I think on the consumer,
those people because they click the save button, are they, you know?
A couple things. I think on the consumer end, they want to save it because, you know, it's Wednesday and they're not going to go till Friday or Saturday and they don't want to lose track of that car. Mm-hmm. The other big reason is they'll get notified anytime the market changes, a quote unquote price changes on it. So as a dealer, the more saves that I can impact, when I make adjustments, hopefully the phone starts ringing. You know, if they thought 20 grand was a good price and they saved it, they didn't have time to come in or they're still shopping, I drop it $500 and they get a notification that I dropped the 500. Hopefully that gets their butt off the couch to call or email and go, I better get in there because now, you know. So I think it's the saved is the notification of any price adjustments, like, hey, I like this car, but it's still a little high in the market, or a little bit high to my budget, or I want to save it for Saturday because I want to go look at it Saturday. Either way, it's huge benefit to the dealers. And we've got to put those to someone
at AT or Cars and ask them, what is the behavior around someone that clicks save vehicle? I'd be interested. And maybe there's something already out there and and
compare it or send it to their spouse or whatever. But I usually just send the link. But, you know, so, you know, when you dig in and pull, the other thing, so when we're talking about inventory and the CRMs don't even talk about inventory, I think the biggest missed opportunity with CRMs is the new cars. Go to Photo 7. Now, again, this is just a report. I'm not showing these to promote us as much as just understand these numbers, because until you really look at this, I was blown away. I couldn't believe it. Now, again, this is a VIN dealer, and I don't think it matters if it's VIN or e-leads or anything like that. But look at the red box. This is a Ford store. So what percentage of my new car leads actually came with my make in it? No duplicates, okay? So I highlighted 50% there. So only on that month, February, only 50% of his new car leads actually had his franchise in it. So we started digging through those leads, and notice it pretty much happened at the beginning of the year. Previous year, he was at 60, 70%, but something happened December and on that. And you know what happened here was one of the things that we picked up, I think it was a trade and marketplace, or like the Kelly Blue Book guaranteed values. He was a buyer for those leads. Became a buyer for those leads. Those came in as new car leads. Or if you own that market, somebody builds out a trade evaluation at the end that says, what do you want to buy? And they say 2018 Accord. You're coming into a Ford store as a new car lead. And, you know, back in the 70 percentages, those were credit apps coming in as new car leads. So think about what?
I was going to say that is an absolute sign of technologies built in the late 90s and early 2000s, where you had very strict coding requirements that forced something going into the system in order to be a part of a process plan or be a part of the reporting had to have a vehicle assigned to it as well.
Yep.
So you had to have, you know, at least a first name, a last name, and some sort of contact info, like a phone number. And then also you had to stick a car on it.
Well, and that's the orange line. That's what I highlighted in yellow is percentage of those leads with an actual stock number on it. Again, CRMs won't give you this information, but I highlighted this because only percentage with stock numbers dropped to 39% of his leads that he has are actually on cars that he has in stock. So the other 60% of his leads are cars that people built up. Hey, I want a Ford Lariat F-150 black on black with a roof, blast it out to 5 dealers. Good luck. What's your closing percentage on a lead that is on a car in stock versus a car that's not in stock? And that's the white line. And what I found, that white line is the closing percentage. And more times than not, and sometimes it's a month behind, but as that closing percentage went up, if you follow it from left to right, when that white line went up, look at the orange line, it follows. So when my stock number percentage was up, closing percentage went up. When my stock number leads with stock numbers went down, so did my closing percentage. Is that your person's problem, right? If I'm managing your leads and half of my leads are on my franchise and only 40%, 50% of those are actually on cars in stock, is that my fault when my closing percentage went out of whack? But that's what you're going to base my performance off of, is how many leads I got and what I closed. But it's irrelevant.
Like how many salespeople tell a customer to go fill out a credit app on the website?
Yeah. And if you don't have your CRM set up properly, those might be coming in as new car leads. So you got 300 new car leads and sell, 15 cars, and they're wondering what the hell your department's doing. Why are we wasting all this money on these leads? And then the next chart, look at this.
And this is how you make great marketing decisions.
Well, I'll show you where you get marketing decisions from. So again, this was a Ford store. And again, all I'm doing is pulling this out of VIN and creating a report out of it. So you guys can do this. But I highlight it in somewhat of a purple, but look at F-250s. No, matter of fact, look at Mustangs. 55 leads, and I'm only closing 1.8%. Why? Over to the right. 20% of my Mustang leads came with cars in stock. Maybe that's why my closing percentage is so low. Look at the Flex, look at the F-250, 39 leads on F-250, only closed in 7%, but only 18% of my F-150 leads. So, cars with lack of expedition, 15 leads, 6%, 13% of those leads. So if you actually understand, maybe there's a car underperforming. Maybe my F-250s were closing better last month because I had more leads with cars in stock. So that drop off in leads with cars in stock, is it the wrong inventory? Maybe I sold out of all my commercial account white ones and all I got is red ones, and no commercial account wants red anymore. Or maybe my pricing went up, so no one's picking out my cars. Maybe everything's right and I'm just not getting enough exposure. So maybe I throw some Google, pay-per-click money at the F-250s to get people off of these other sites into my inventory. So those things affect a person's closing percentage, your process closing percentage. It's your products, and the CRMs don't even look at cars when they consider success rates in stores, And until we start getting involved with this and helping guys on both ends, and I start connecting the dots, I'm like, holy crap, no wonder new cars is down. And then we start making adjustments. And I don't know, what do you guys think? Because inventory is a big impact in all of this, but CRMs tend not to even mention them.
You're hitting on so many buttons that sending me down a few different paths. This is all I can say is this is insanely insightful and friggin' awesome.
Well, that's what we're trying to do, is connect these dots, because the hardest part to helping a dealership from the outside, as an outside consultant helping them, is we have no control. I can't make your guys pick up the phone. I can't make them email the customers. But sometimes if we can get them to pick up the phone, their activities per lead, I can get the guys calls and emails are picking up, but we're still not selling more cars. Well, maybe it's the cars themselves. Maybe it's we're doing too good on our cars and we're getting a lot of leads on cars that are sold, and we got to put those people down another funnel. Maybe it's our pricing's jacked up. All these different things connect with each other, but it's hard. No system really puts it together. But this right here is, to me, you mentioned marketing. This right here would tell me a marketing decision in my eyes.
Yeah, and the reason I think Jeff and I are so quiet is because we're digesting a lot of this right now.
I know. I hardly talk about our internet part of what we do in our business. I talk a lot about inventory when I do Facebook Lives and all this other stuff. One, honestly, I don't want CRMs to know, but now you know. But two is, it's almost over the head of a lot of people. It's like, yeah, whatever. But until you actually, that's why I wanted to send you those pictures. Until you can see those graphs and the cause and effect of this, then it becomes eye-opening and go, oh, crap, we better pay attention on this.
Yeah, I just keep thinking about how our CRM options today are insanely limited, and they're limited to a group of CRMs. That the newest one was probably VinSolutions. I think VinSolutions came to market in, was it 2003? It was somewhere in the early 2000s.
There's some smaller outfits out there, like
but of the big ones, Jeff, the ones that have more than, say, 500 clients on them.
Correct.
The ones that OEMs and Shift Digitals and all work with. But yeah, so the newest one is nearly 20 years old. That's I mean, we should be used to that because we all love CDK and Reynolds so much. But but yeah, I mean, just the limiting factors on technologies back then were significant, and it's very difficult to divorce yourself from that without completely divorcing yourself from it and rewriting it from the ground up, which a lot of the companies that have acquired these systems may or may not have the patience or even expertise on staff to pull that off anymore.
Yeah. Well, I think that's twofold. I think OEMs, also the third parties or the classifieds like the Cars.com, Auto Trader, they need to be aware of some of these things. I got to speak at Cars.com. I got to go to the corporate office. I got to speak to a lot of people there, and their concerns were about the reporting and stuff that they're looking at. But really, it's the hands-on with the accounts, and and maybe struggling accounts or accounts that maybe want to cancel because, again, we sold one car and spent 10 grand because that's what the CRM said. But, I was trying to point out to them these things I was just showing you with the inventory. Like I said, Cars.com's performance could have been on those 10 leads or on cars already sold. Doesn't mean they're bad leads.
Yeah.
And Jeff, again, I'm just, as you know, being in the internet in the early 90s or late 90s, early 2000s, we had to defend everything. So I want to defend some of this. Like, here, pull up photo 9. And I know I keep pulling up these pictures. I just want guys to understand visually how this all puts together. But you can't just look at the CRM's performance based or the lead provider performance based off the CRM. And again, we look at people, the products. I was just going over products, but here's the provider stuff. And again, these are just some numbers that we put out, again, out of, I think this Event Solutions dealer is on the left. These are new car leads by one provider. I won't name the provider if you want to hear it, but 138 leads. 104 good. That's in the red there. 104 good, because next to 104, you'll see 24.6 were duplicates. Most CRMs will kick out duplicates, okay? They're smart enough to do that. But far over to the right in the red box, it says new leads without intent to submit. There was 14 people that we talked to that said, no, I didn't mean to submit that. I was registering to win a TV, right? Or whatever. So, you know, if you really, you can say that to qualify a provider, if it's good or not, I would call it a quality lead. So they had back in the middle in the red box, 87 quality leads out of the 84. And next to that 87, you can see 84% quality leads. So I gauge a provider, but that's one thing. Do they give us quality leads or not? But in the green, you could see we only sold 4 cars. Now your CRM, that's where the new closing percentage in the green, it's 3.8. The CRM is saying you sold those 4 off of the 104, right? Because that's what the CRM is going to say. But I added a quality lead closing percentage, and you gain about 1% on that provider. You might gain 5%. You might have a 3.8, but based on the bad leads, you know,
where'd you come up with the quality?
Again, I'm taking the 4 sold, but taking it to the 87.
Okay.
In the red, because the 87's kicking out the 14 people that said, no, I didn't want nothing.
Okay.
Or they didn't give me a phone number or right email address, right? They give me Joe Schmo at Yahoo 555-555. Well, you know, the CRM doesn't, they still count that as a lead. I'm going, yeah, push that one to the side. So that's the quality. But the kicker, and that's the star, no one does this. Parts department does this, but lost sales, right?
Yep.
So we've gotten a hold of 7 people that said, I already bought. I bought something else, or I already bought. So if I take the 7 sales plus the 4 I did, it's 11% closing percentage. So to me, this is missed opportunity. So is this provider that bad? The CRM is going to say at 3.8%. I'm going, I don't know, dude. We got 84%, you know, good quality ratio, and we missed 7 deals that we know of. So the true lead provider quality or closing percentage is 11 almost. And so is that a missed opportunity in my process? Am I doing something wrong? But again, CRM's not showing that kind of stuff.
Well, it could be something wrong. It just ended up not being the right vehicle. You know, maybe the customer was closer to that other dealership. And tons of variables are involved.
My concern with the lead provider, are they sending me good quality leads, or are they sending me buyers? Yes. They got good quality leads. 84% is not the best, but it's not bad. And there's 11 people that I know of that were buyers. So to me, if I just waited on the 3.8, I'd probably cancel the provider. But when I look at the opportunities there, it's actually not that bad.
Yeah.
You know.
Again, you're just counting, like, this is just form leads.
Yes, these are just form leads. This is just new
phone calls. We're not counting any type of walk-in traffic.
But this is just new cars. But also look in the middle of the 3.8% closing and the 14 people. Look in the middle, percentage of new cars leads with stock numbers. So these are new car leads. Only 8% of these actual leads came on a stock number. So that's probably why, another reason why it closed real low.
Yep. Totally makes sense.
Is that an inventory problem? Do I have the wrong cars, the wrong pricing?
So what does the dealership do? We can't trust our CRM for this. I mean, what tools are out there that, I don't know of any tool out there that really gives us a true measurement, a true report that reflects this without having to manually go through and do that.
I know. And that's the thing. And I mean, again, we don't do anything proprietary. We're just
Jason, there's your next project for Lot Pop.
Well, we have it, but I'm not trying to make this into a sales pitch. But I mean, again, the only thing we're grabbing is a customized.
Yeah, but you still have to do it manually. I guess you just provide that type of service for the dealership. So
yeah, I mean, once you build out the report and let it do its algorithms, like a Excel spreadsheet, or this is a Google Doc, you know, once you export that Excel spreadsheet and dump it, it should automatically calculate this stuff for you. So it's not that hard, but it is. But again, it's something you should be paying attention to. It's just a matter of manpower and know how to do it, but it's not that difficult. It can be done. But
so, you know, scrap the CRM.
Go back to web control.
Yeah.
And then make sure you've got somebody on staff who can decipher things for you. It too. And Rick Buffkin had a comment about that. He's basically saying, isn't that what the internet manager is?
What's that?
The person who connects all these dots.
Yeah, that's usually the job that falls in their lap.
But it's hard to find those issues, those holes, like you said, though.
It is, yeah, especially when you're dealing with some of these tools.
Yeah, the only way you find the holes is if, you know, overdue activities. If there's a, you know, a 3-day call that somebody did do 2 days ago, you can pull those up, but it doesn't really, yeah.
So Jason, what are some other reports that you're looking at? I mean, you know, it all comes down, obviously, when we look at this, it's inventory. It all comes down to inventory. You know, I mean, great merchandising on your inventory, but what inventory do you have the right inventory?
Well, actually, when it comes to CRMs and activity, though, I would go back to like the first chart I sent you. I would say when it comes to CRMs and internet process management, the cars matter, but cars aside, we're talking CRM is to me, activities per lead is a big indicator of any dealer's success.
This one.
Yeah, and this is this one because again, I wanted to kind of give an eyeball. Again, you can pull this data out, but what you're looking at here is 0 to 30-day-old leads. I would call those fresh. Fresh leads we should be probably contacting pretty frequently. And you know, we hid the names, but if you just look at the first set of person, he had 73 leads, and I could see that 85% of them haven't been contacted within 3 days. So, and that's what calls. You see calls that says 50. He's got 50 of those 73 leads he hasn't called in 3 days, and he's got 60 that he hasn't emailed in 3 days. And then 39 is the combo. He's got 39 leads he hasn't called or emailed for 3 days.
Why does he even get email leads?
Well, exactly. And he's not the worst. So that goes into, actually the second photo would show you the a longer term follow-up, because that's where I think once you get, let me break down activities per lead, because this will get us down another conversation about texts.
I knew you were going to go there.
Yeah, we look at like how many calls and emails are you doing to the amount of leads you're getting in. Okay, so if you've done 200 calls and emails on 50 leads, you did 4 calls and emails per lead. Now that's just a generic snapshot, but a lot of people say, well, texting is this and that. You should be able to, one, CRMs don't report texting. Not a lot of them do. If you hear about them, that's fine. But
and if they do, they report each individual text as a contact.
Exactly. And so when you do track text messages, it's going to every single, that'd be like calling somebody and marking a phone call, but you mark a phone call every time you complete a sentence, right? Completed a call, completed a call, completed a call. And so to track activities per lead based on text messages, you have one customer, you're back and forth with 100 different messages. But did that mean I really followed up with all the rest of the leads?
And it throws off your stats. Like
throws it all off. So we
follow-up report.
We haven't found a way to do, manage that, but this is to me long-term, and how we were successful in our internet departments back in the day. Again, one, just because the internet director was there to make sure everybody worked the leads. They didn't have to worry about working the website and updating incentives on the website, things like that. The internet director did that and let these guys work the leads. But the other thing is the long-term follow-up. And that's like these leads here are 31 to 60 days old. This guy has 43 leads in that bucket, and 91% of them haven't had a call or email in 5 days. Now I'm giving a 5-day spread because these are older leads that I'm not going to call as consistently. So he has 91% of his leads he hasn't called or emailed in 5 days. And so how do you pull those leads? That's how you stir the pot and get more people in the door. Pull up these leads that no one's been calling or email. But again, the only way the CRM is going to allow you to do that is going and digging into overdue activities. You can fake a phone call, but you can't fake an email, right?
Correct.
In a CRM.
So who's the champ here? I guess because some of these look like people that really don't get too many leads.
Well, and that's why I picked this one, because this is a dealer that struggles with activities per lead. I think on average about 20 is good. If you take a weekly call and email versus a weekly lead load, I have dealers in the 5 and 8s. That's kind of this guy here. But the reason why is they'll sell 200 cars. These people work the floor and the internet. See, that's why I say that stuff doesn't work, because that person's going to take a floor up while there's an internet lead sitting there. And
Happens
that's why
all
these
the time.
people are, yeah. So this is why a department that handles floor and internet doesn't work in my eyes, because you get this. And I could show you, and I don't know, what's the third photo I sent you? The lost lead percentage probably? Yeah. So I could see, the guy I highlighted, 42% of their leads in the last 60 days already moved to lost. Because that's another way to work it. I can make my activities per lead look really good by getting rid of a lot of my leads and moving them to lost. And so if you got to track that, and are we giving up on leads too quick? Are we putting them, customer
Made a phone call, I'm done.
Customer never replied and it's 7-day-old lead. You're like, you haven't worked it long enough, So you got to,
Why didn't they reply?
Yeah. So is this the provider's fault? Now you look at this. Now this is totally opposite. Is it the car problem or a provider problem when I don't have my own people following up? You got to understand your success and your lack thereof in your internet department or your lead management is trifold. Is it my inventory? Is it my provider? Is it my people?
Again, this applies to phone as well. I mean, I know your report wasn't showing a lot of phone calls, but I know from my experience, we get 3 phone calls per lead, especially from a third-party source such as cars.com and such. But and then you listen to a salesperson on the phone. No wonder no one shows up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's where like this store would question, should I cancel cars.com, Auto Trader, Car Gurus, or whoever their provider is? When you look at the people's activity, you're like, no, until you can make your process right, don't go blaming cars.com, Auto Trader for your lack of performance. Your people aren't doing their job. But once your people are doing their job, get the process in, make sure your people are following it. Then you can start questioning after 60, 90 days of tracking it. Then you can start questioning providers, ability.
Yeah, but still hold on to your report so you can bash your provider when they show up and negotiate a lower rate.
Yeah, because you know what the provider's going to do.
Nice.
The provider's going to say, well, what'd you do with all those leads? And then you throw the report out and go, here's what I did. 50 activities per lead. No. But yeah, I mean, that's the hard part with CRMs. Again, they're great, but there's lead management, there's CRMs. Dealers got to look at it differently and don't go off of a closing percentage to gauge your people or your providers. Because
don't use your CRM. Don't pull the reports from your CRM and take those as the end all be all. As Alex would say, just don't even use your CRM.
Yeah, Alex came up with that title again. Yeah.
Is that your takeaway today, Alex? Reinforce.
It's to be honest with you, it's no, I'm not 100% there yet, but I am absolutely questioning it. And coming from me, I think that's a big question because I spent a decade in dealership owning the CRM, and then I spent nearly a decade building one for dealer.com. So I've got a lot of thought in CRM and a lot of time spent. And I am absolutely wondering if the value of it as a showroom babysitting tool is being devalued because of its linear, low way of tracking attribution that is causing some harmful decisions to happen. Is one of those worth more than the other? I don't know. I sit back and say now is CRM worth $3,000 a month for that? I don't know.
What about your tools that plug into a CRM, such as like your equity mining, more of your BDC type of features?
Well, those actually have those have.
There are standalone systems that do that as well.
For sure. I mean, those are solving real business needs. I sit back now and that's probably the way to look at it is CRM solving a real business need for me. Is having a process there that's being managed digitally, stopping my sales agents from going up to the desk every 5 minutes and asking what I'm supposed to do next, boss? Has that been curbed by CRMs?
Well, when you were talking about what should I do next, boss, one of the trends that I notice, and again, this is where when you guys look at activities per lead and all that, just what we're doing, and you guys know this, working leads and being at the store, is what happens is we get slow, right? The traffic's, there's no appointments, so we go everybody go pound the phone. You want to know what to do next? Go pound the phone and email. And we start, our activities per lead just cranks up. And then next week, all of a sudden, our activities drop off because all those people we called and emailed last week are showing up this week. So now I'm busy selling cars. And as we're selling cars, guess what's not happening? I'm not following up with my leads anymore. So then my activities per lead drop off. And then that week, so guess what happens the following week? No one shows up. We're slow. So guess what? Get on the phone, get on the emails, and we go back up again. And so the biggest struggle with dealers is just keeping that consistency. And that's where like BDC departments or whatever, just people, the appointment setters and stuff like that can have some strengths. I'm not big on them, but I think there's a place for them as a back 2, 3, 4 week old leads calling email for you. But it's, when we get busy, not busy, a lot of it has to do with those activities not being done. And then again, the CRM, if you just look at a month, it's not capturing that in that kind of weekly cycle. But a lot of times it's our fault, and not bad because we're selling cars, right?
So Jason, a big topic that's in the dealer refresh forums that comes up probably quarterly, to BDC or not to BDC. What's your final word on that?
Maybe I'm old school, but here's the reason I'm going to defend this. I think if you ask the dealer and they had 20 people on the floor, 10 people on the floor, how many people do you trust answering the phone, getting customer's name, email address, and handling it properly? They probably say 10, 20%. I don't know, 5 people, right? Yes. How many people do you trust that can communicate effectively in emails and engage with customers? They probably give you the same.
Have you read those emails?
Yeah. So if only 20% can handle them effectively, why are you going to have 100% of your floor doing it? So I think you should have a direct person from cradle to grave, call, email, schedule, get them in the door, sell the car. My ideal situation, and what I try to do back in 05 is get them to be able to do financing too, because I'm already building the report and do the finance part. To me, in the real world. So call it, but worst case scenario, call, email, schedule appointment, get them in the door. You've already earned their trust. There's that front and back end of the internet. The front end is being your calls and your emails. How effective are you doing that? Setting appointments. The back end is, are the appointments showing up? And if they do, how are we closing them there? Because we've had departments that do a great job calling, email, getting them in the door. But then because they're passing them off to salesmen on the floor, things start falling apart. And it affects my closing percentage because we're trying to steal their trade, or we don't have a car pulled up ready for them, and things like that, and things start falling apart. So if somebody can handle it from beginning to end, I think it's most effective. Now, if I'm going to apply BDC, to me, BDC is business development. They're going to be working service, sold, follow-ups, and things like that, trying to get those people who already bought a car and own a car excited about maybe trading it in and developing business with them. I might use, if I have too many leads per manager, 150 tops if I have a great process in place, 100 leads maybe. But if I have only 2 or 3 internet people and they're handling 150, 200 leads and they need the light in their load, maybe have a BDC handle the leads that are 2, 3 weeks old that we haven't got a hold of yet. I've called an email for 2 weeks, move it to them, see if they can get them on the phone. If they do, move it back to me. That'd be a way to maybe use the BDC to help get that activities per lead back up. But that's, to me, BDC is business development, not lead management.
I'm with you 100% on that. I've set it up that way, that exact way several times.
Yeah. But that's why I defend it, because again, I think there's only 20% of the people on the showroom or that can handle the phone and email effectively.
If.
Not saying we can't train somebody to do better, but if you just shotgun it out to everybody, so.
Well, it's 2:00. Alex, where are you at?
I'm thinking through a lot of things. I'm feeling some blog articles might be coming out soon.
Uh-oh.
Definitely some forum conversations. And in fact, there is a commenter who's been doing a great job participating today. That's Steve Rossler. And I invite him to participate a bit more and talk about Drive-centric CRM, who could be one of the newcomers that challenges some of these 20-year-old systems that we're all that are the majority of the dealer bodies using right now.
Yeah, I hear good things about them.
I do too. I'd like to look at it a little better.
Who's that?
Drive-centric CRM?
Oh, with oh, is it Scott? Who's yeah. I I did a slight demo on that almost maybe a year ago. Um, their push was a lot of video, but it was pretty impressive. Yeah, that was when you said earlier about the CRMs out there, I was like, well, there's a few smaller outfits out there, and that was one that I was thinking of. Dominion's new Vision CRM. Uh, there's some smaller outfits out there that actually have, I guess, have written on some newer code, and they've got some pretty good products out there. But again, they're not the ones that are out there that are right in front of the dealerships. They're not the ones that the manufacturers are, able to co-opt or recommend or.
Yeah, when you've got a 6 to 7 figure check going out to Shift Digital, that's when you know that you're a big CRM player.
Yeah.
Well, here I would say too is it's as you're looking at CRMs, it's the back end reporting data I think is real important. Vin Solutions is awesome. You can customize, build out report, get a ton of data out of there. E-leads is a little bit tougher. It's a great lead management on a daily, but to build out a process and get your customer, because their reporting is very layered, like Reynolds lead management is very layered. Reynolds, you can pull out a ton of data out of there. And like I said, all the stuff that we did, we created reports, export it and dump it. And so to be able to do that, some sites are limited. Like I said, E-leads are great lead management, but the reporting is really tough and chopped up. But then somebody like Reynolds is great with reporting, but lead management. Vin's kind of got both going. Drive centric, I think. Again, I've heard good things. I can't validate their reporting on it. Dealer Socket, pretty good. Understand lead management, but again, a little bit choppy on the leads reports. We can do it, but it takes us 4 times as long to pull the data out of there. But at least we can get it, But so those are some, obviously some good ones out there. I don't know who else is using them if they're commenting in there, but
of course I guess you get to use all these CRMs, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, that's a benefit. We get to kind of see the ins and outs of both or all of them. But just give me the data and we got to look at it. And I'd bring that up because if the data that we just showed you is important to you, just make sure that you can get it out of that CRM, because some of them you can't. Some of those reports that I just showed you can't get out of some of the lead management CRMs I just mentioned.
And there are definitely reports that a dealership should at least be able to reference.
And those are also a lot of these reports and a lot of these systems are just that. They're reports. They're not actionable. So you can go see a number, but how do you turn that number into a list of customers that you can go contact or put into a different process plan or send an email blast to or something like that?
Yeah. Well, just the sales pitch, I guess, we do weekly calls with our dealers to do that, to break down the reports every week with them and go over it with them. But I also could just give them, somebody just wants to report, so we can do that. So if anybody's interested, I'm not going to, go into detail, but somebody wants to reach out, we can give them the reports. And again, I wasn't doing this. You guys know that. I just sent you the photos at the last minute before the call because of Alex and his subject line there. I'm like, oh crap, I better something to defend this because we're going to get
a great job. Don't worry about it, Jason.
And I'm going to throw out all this stuff and people got to see it. And so, yeah. But, you can get it out of there. If you need help, let us know. But yeah, it's something you got to look at. Because again, I'm just so surprised that these CRMs don't even talk about cars. And that's why I always talk about cars first, because that's what you're there to sell. As much as everybody wants to be a social media king, you're there to sell freaking cars.
With your hand on so many CRMs out there, what are some other CRMs that maybe some dealerships aren't aware at that I'm not saying that you're endorsing or should, but maybe they should at least be aware of? I mean, I heard I didn't realize Autoloop had a CRM. Is that true?
That I don't know. Again, we're just limited.
Jeff, everybody has a CRM.
Wow. Yeah. True.
I know. I think Tacobi's trying to go anti-CRM or have their own system and stuff like that too with the leads. But,
is that the texting company?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. But
technically, if you store a customer's information in the system,
you can be a CRM.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the last thing I want to do. If
you are a Rolodex, you can be a CRM.
Right.
Well, and that's why we're trying to be the chameleon, because I just need the data. I'm not trying to be a CRM. We don't even want to go down that road. There's just fish in that pond. So it's just a matter of understanding the data and again, what it affects your internet department. And then, like I said, being in the internet department so long, we get beat up and had to defend our department. And all these trends just help us defend what we're doing and where we got to focus. You know?
No, you're right.
So.
Well, Jason, we're going to bring it to an end, man. We truly appreciate your insight. I mean,
big time. I got some good takeaways from this, by the way.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Done the job if you impress Alex. Is that what the criteria is here?
I'm not easy to impress.
And I'm sorry, Alex freaked you out with the clickbait.
No apologies.
Of course, of course not.
I was like, oh crap, and I'm scrambling trying to get snapshots so we can, yeah, I'm like, oh boy.
No worries. So again, but thank you so much. We'll be back here next Friday. And who do we have next Friday, Alex?
Oh, hold on a second.
You forgot.
Well, I'm still thinking through some of it, Jason.
I know.
I got a long list of notes here. No, Steve Stauning's on next week, and it's another fun one. So this week we're killing CRMs. Next week we're killing pay-per-click.
Oh, Lord. We're not making any friends, are we?
No. Kiss all our sponsors.
We're going to lose all of our advertising. There you go, Alex.
Yeah.
That's all right. All right, Jason, thanks again. We'll have you back soon, I'm sure. And because I'd like to dive in just to the used car market, because I know that's your expertise, not just internet and merchandising.
Yep.
There's probably not too many people out there in our industry that knows the used car market the way you do. And right now we're seeing some weird shifts
Yeah.
in the used car market. So I'd love to have you back on pretty soon. And
I appreciate it. Yeah, because right now things are slowing down for everybody, and they paid top money for these cars at the land in August with the sales, but you got to keep the price. Don't look at the front.
Exactly what I'm talking about. And how can a dealership, what's a deellership supposed to do whenever that's happening? So.
Well, it's funny. Okay, so maybe we can talk about this because in November,
I got another hour.
Well, I'm going to auto remarketing. I'm going to be
give us just a nice briefing, and then we'll have.
I'm going to be speaking at auto remarketing about the top 10 don'ts with your inventory. You know, like right now, don't mark up your fresh stuff because of the beating you're taking on age, stuff like that. Because this is stuff that, So I already got that all built out, so we can. There's some subjects there about that.
We'll get you back on real quick then.
All right, man.
We'll tackle it. Again, thank you so much. Have a great weekend, and we'll see everybody back here next Friday.
Yep. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.